PowerBoat Television, North America's premier boating show.
You know, it's not uncommon for boaters to want to extend their season both into the early spring and late fall, but sometimes the cold weather just doesn't always cooperate. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't miss out on the great boating. So that's why this week on My Boat, we're going to take you through the steps to installing a heater. So the unit we're installing today is the Heatercraft 300H series. And what's nice about these units is that they're universal. They can be installed in any inboard or IO application, as long as you have an engine with a block to draw off of. That's because all you really need is an in-source of hot water and an outflow to heat up your heater core. So our first step is just that. We're gonna take our hoses and tap off the block. Now, before you get into the project, it's always nice to check into your engine manufacturer's website for any info. I went on PCM and was able to find a water flow chart for this model that actually details if you're going to install an accessory heater. So for the water out up to the heater core, we're going to tap off of the sending unit. And for the water return, it's going to go to the water circulation pump. Removing the sending wire was the first step. After that, I had easy access to remove the fitting. Using the fittings provided, along with a couple extras I had to purchase, I began to make a T-splice for the water flow up to the heater unit. I did a quick fit first, then used Teflon tape as recommended with any plumbing project. With the T-adapter made, I then started on the barbed fitting that would give me the extra room for the new larger adapter. After that, it was simply a matter of hooking the sending wire back up. From here came the really tricky part. Since this was a V-drive, the usually accessible water circulation pump that the water would return to was at the very back of the boat. This single bolt soon became a lesson in patience and dexterity. Not being able to see was one thing, but it seemed like the right tool was always just too big. But eventually, the battle was won. Then I was able to Teflon the new fitting and secure it much easier than it came out. Our next step now is to break out the trusty fish so we can fish our hoses from the engine up to the helm. Fishing two large hoses is also easier said than done, but much like the stubborn bolt, with a little patience, some reassessing, and some good old-fashioned elbow grease, the battle was won. With the circulation hoses run up to the helm, I then started installing the vents for the heater. One was put behind the helm to be used in the cockpit, while the second was placed in the walk-through so it could service the bow or the port helm. Wiring for the unit was very straightforward and quite simple actually. There was simply a positive and a ground, along with a high, medium, and low speed wire. Using a hole saw, I cut the desired location and began wiring the switch. With the wiring complete, my next task was to build a shelf out of king starboard that would be used to mount the heater unit under the helm. Once the heater was in place, I was able to hook up the ductwork, and when everything looked satisfactory, I was able to secure it in place for good. Well, that puts a wrap on our heater install, and I was really impressed with this project and the product by Heatercraft. It was about a medium difficulty level. The main thing this took was patience and time. But now to be able to stay warm on those cold spring and fall days, well, I think that's pretty cool.